Hello students. In the last lecture we have already seen how to deal with the strings in PHP. In this lecture we are going to see what are the different control structures available in PHP. So first let us understand what is meant by control structure. Generally, a computer program is executed sequentially line by line. And a control structure allows you to alter that flow, usually depending upon the certain conditions. A control structure allows you to control the flow of code execution in our application. Now, as like any other programming language, control structures are the core feature of PHP language that allows our script to respond differently to different inputs or situations. Now, PHP includes two general conditional statements. First is if statement and second is switch statement. Now, this functionality gives you the ability to make our websites more dynamic. The second type of control structures that we are going to see are the loops, which allows you to repeat an action for a specified number of iterations. When we want to perform the same operation for specified number of times at that time or specified number of iterations at that time, we use the programming logic that is called as loops. So let's begin with the first statement, that is if conditional. Now while writing a program, there can be a case when we have to check a certain condition in order to execute a particular statement. So if the condition value is true, if that condition is true, then and then only the code will be executed. In such cases, we use if conditional statement. So the syntax is simple. The keyword if followed by a condition in parenthesis, then opening curly bracket and closing curly bracket. And in between these two curly brackets, we write the code statements that will be executed if the condition given above executes or evaluates to true. Right? So if the condition is true, the statements are executed, and if the condition is false, the statements will not be executed. Right? So here we are checking only the true part. If the condition is true, then only we are executing the certain statements. Otherwise, we have not mentioned what to do. Right? So let's have an example. So this is a simple PHP script where we declared a variable named age and assigned a value 50 to it, and we are checking if that variable value is greater than 30, then we will be printing a message that your age is greater than 30. Right? So we are just checking the value of a variable whether it is greater than 30. If it is greater than 30, then we will be printing a simple message. Now suppose if it is not greater than 30, then in that case what to do we have not provided. So to deal with such cases, we have another variation of this if statement, that is if else statement. Right? So the next logical formation after the if conditional is the if else statement, sometimes called as if then else, like in any other programming language. So the syntax is again the same, only that else part is added to the if condition. So we are checking the condition again in the if part. If the condition is true, then the statements will be executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, then the else part will be executed. If the condition is true, then the true statements will be executed. If the condition is false, false statement will be executed. So again, we will have an example. Again, the same type of example where we have declared a variable named age and assigned a value 50 to it, and we are checking if that variable's value is less than 18, right? If that variable's value is less than 18, then that person, or we are printing a message that you are not eligible to vote. Because for voting, right, the age should be greater than 18 years, right? If the age is greater than 18, then and then only the person will be eligible for voting. So we want to implement this logic in our program. So that is why we are writing it using the if-else statement. So in if part, we are checking the condition. If age is less than 18, then we are printing the message that you are not eligible to vote. Now suppose the age is not less than 18, it is greater than 18. Not less than 18 means obviously it is greater than 18. So if it is greater than 18, then the else part will be executed, where we are printing a message that you are eligible for voting. Okay? But these two statements, that is if statement and if else statement, deals with a single condition. The plain simple if statement deals with the true part of the condition, whereas if else statement deals with the if true and false part of the same condition. If the condition is true, then what to do? If condition is false, what to do? But while doing programming, there are certain cases when we have to check more than one conditions. We have to check the multiple conditions. And depending upon those multiple conditions, we have to execute a particular part of the program. So for that, we need some more operators, some more logical and comparison operators like the given on the screen. So the first operator is double equal to sign, that is used for equality purpose. Then second is exclamation mark and equal to sign, that is used for inequality, when we want to check whether the value is not equal to. Then the relational operators that are less than, greater than, less than equal to, and greater than equal to. Then the logical symbols, logical operators, that is negation. Exclamation mark is used as a not operator. Then when we want to check the multiple conditions in a single statement, then we use and operator. So this and can be written as A and D, or it can be written as double ampersand. The next operator is OR operator, or the same can be represented by two vertical lines. So when we want to check the multiple conditions in a single statement, we want to implement this multiple condition logic in our program, we have to use the else if part in the if statement. So it has a similar to the if else condition, right, where we can check. The only advantage is that we can check more than one condition in a single statement. So if first condition 1, if that condition is true, then the statements will be executed. Next, else if condition 2, right? If this condition 1 is false, then we will check condition number 2. If that condition 2 is true, then again the other statements will be executed. Again, if condition 2 is false, then we will check condition 3, then condition 4, and so on, as many conditions as you want in order to implement the logic in the program, right? To better understand, let's have a look at example, right? Suppose we want to find out the persons in different age group, right? Whether the person belongs to below 30 age group, or the person belongs to 30s and 40s age group, or the person is between 40 and 50, or the person's age is above 50 years. Then we have written a simple script here. We have declared one variable again named as age and assigned a value 50, and we are checking the different conditions using the if else if statement, right? So if first condition we are checking, if the value is less than 30, is it true? No, because the value of variable age is 50, so obviously it is false. So the else if part, it's the program flow goes to the else if part, where we are again checking whether the value of age is greater than 40 and less than whether the age is greater than 30 and less than 40. Yes, age is greater than 30, yes, and age is not less than 40. Again, the condition becomes false. So again, we are checking the next condition in the else if part, that is, if age is greater than 40, yes, and age is less than 50, no. Again, it will go to the next condition. So we go on checking the conditions one by one till some of the statements, some of the conditions become true and some of the code block will be executed. So in our case, the else part will be executed where it will print a message that your age is greater than 50, right? So this is how we implement the if else if statement where we can check the multiple conditions. Now the second conditional statement that along with the if statement is that is available in PHP is a switch conditional statement. Now where we check the single condition, but it can have the multiple options available, right? Suppose like it is something like the months in the year can be represented by the numericals as well as their names, right? So we can say the January, February, March till December, or we can say the first month, second month, third month, and fourth month. Suppose we say the month number 3, then obviously we come to understand that it is March. So the condition is 1, the month, but it has a multiple values. It has a 12 different values. So the similar kind of logic can be implemented in a program by using the switch conditional statement. Now this switch conditional statement takes only one possible condition, but it can have the multiple options available, right? So the syntax is pretty simple. Switch in bracket, we are providing a variable and we are checking our values against this value of this variable. Right? Suppose case value 1, if the variable contains value 1, then the first statement will be executed and followed by the break. So we are breaking the flow of this switch statement and we are coming out of this switch statement. If the variable contains a value 2, then second statement will be executed. If the variable contains the value 3, then the third statement will be executed. And like the if else if conditionals has the optional else part, similarly here we declare the default case where if none of the above mentioned cases work out, then the default case will be executed. Right? If the value doesn't match with any of the values given in the different cases, then the default case will be executed. So let's have an example. Suppose we want to check what is the favorite color, right? So we have declared a favorite color variable and initialized it with red. Now we are checking the value of this favorite color variable in switch, and we have written some 3 cases like red, blue, and green. So this red will be matched with the value of the favorite color variable, right? So value of the favorite color variable is red. So the case red matches with this value and it will print a message that your favorite color is red. But if suppose someone has entered a blue, then it will print a message your favorite color is blue. But someone has entered any other color apart from these red, blue, and green, then the default statement will be executed and your favorite color is neither red, blue, or green. So likewise it goes on checking the conditions case by case. It will try to match the values of the particular case with the variable mentioned in the switch case, and those code block will be executed. So if you closely observe here, we have mentioned a break statement in every case because after the particular code block is executed, we just want to come out of this switch loop. We don't want to execute the other statements once the value matches with the variable's value. Right. So these are the two conditional statements, if conditional and switch conditional, that are available in PHP. Now let us see what are the different loop structures that are available. Now why we use loops in programming? We use loops to execute a section of code repeatedly. When we want to repeat the certain task for multiple times, for more than one times, at that time we use the loops. For example, suppose we want to print something certain number of times. Like for example, suppose we want to print the numbers from 1 to 10, or suppose we want to print the alphabets A to Z. So we have to do the same logic, we have to apply the same logic 26 number of times in order to print the alphabet names. So in such cases, we use the loops. Right. So for either or we may want to print out each value of an array. Suppose an array consists of 50 different values and we want to print each and every value one at a time. So we use loops in such cases. Now PHP provides us three different kind of looping structures. First is a for statement, second is a while statement, and third is for each statement. So let's look one by one. First we will see how to write the for loop. So for loop, the benefit of this for loop is that it reduces the lines of code, right? Because the three statements can be written in a single statement. What are these three statements? So we are writing the initial expression, then the condition, and the closing expression in a single for statement. Without using the three different statements, we are mentioning these three statements in a single statement, that is for. So the syntax is for in bracket, first parameter is initial expression, means the initial value. Then second, we are checking the conditions. Then the third is a closing expression, or we can say the incrementing or decrementing feature. And then followed by the code block, where some of the statements will be executed based on this initial expression and condition. Right? When the condition is true, at that time these statements will be executed. If this condition becomes false at certain time, then these code statements will not be executed and the program flow will come out of this loop. So let's have an example. Suppose we want to print out the numbers from 1 to 10. So for that we have written a simple script, that is for. We have declared one local variable, that is v. Its initial value is assigned as 1. Then second statement, we have provided the condition as variable v is the value of variable v is less than equal to 10. We are checking the value of this variable whether it has become it is less than 10 or not. And the third, that is closing expression, contains the increment operator, where we are incrementing the value of this v by 1 every time the loop gets executed. And within the looping statements, we have just printing the value of v. So let us understand how this loop will be executed. So the initial value of variable is 1, right? Then it will check the condition whether v is less than 10. Yes, the condition is true. That is why it goes into the loop, where it encounters a statement, that is print the value of v. So it will print 1. So it will print 1. Then the next closing statement is what? The value of v is incremented by 1. So again it will go here. Now the value of v becomes 2 because we have added the 1 to the initial value. So it will becomes 2. Then again the condition will be checked. 2 is less than 10. Yes. Again the value will be printed. That is 2. Then again the value will be incremented. The value of v becomes 3. So 3 will be printed, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So after becoming the 10, again the value gets incremented by 1. So the value of variable v becomes 11 now. Now at that time, this condition, that is v is less than 10, becomes false because 11 is not less than or equal to 10. So that is why the program flow will come out of this loop and the other statements will be executed. So this is how the for statement will be executed. Now let's have another looping structure, that is while loop. Now this while loop is called as entry controlled looping structure. Right? So why it is called as entry looping control structure? Because in order to enter into the loop, we are checking the condition. If that condition is true, then and then only it will go into the loop. Otherwise, the loop will not get executed. Right? So the while loop is designed to continue working as long as the condition you establish is true. Like for loop, it checks the value of the condition before each iteration. Right? Once the condition becomes false, the while loop is executed. So whatever may be the programming logic that we can implement by using the for loop, the same can be implemented by using the while loop also. Right? The only benefit of the only difference between the while loop and for loop is that in while loop we have to write the 3 different statements, one for initial condition, then second for condition, one for initial value, second for condition, and third for closing expression, whereas we can write all the 3 statements in a single statement when we use for loop. So the syntax of while loop is simple: while in bracket condition followed by the code block that will be executed if the condition is true. So another slight variation to this while loop is do while loop. This is called as exit controlled looping structure. Like in for or while, we check the condition initially before entering into the looping structure. In do while, the condition is checked at the exit. In order to exit from the loop, the condition is checked. Right? So you have the option of using do while loop, which guarantees that the statements are executed at least once. So what is the advantage of using the do while loop instead of while or for? Whether the condition is true or false, there is a guarantee that the looping statements will be executed at least once, because we are checking the condition at the last. So the example, first we will have the example of while loop, then the do while loop. So while loop, again same. So we are just printing the value of variable x, which is initialized with a value of 1. And we are checking the condition if that variable x value has become 5 or not, whether it is less than or equal to 5. And every time we are printing the value of variable x. And after that, we are incrementing the value by 1 every time the loop gets executed. So again, initially the value is 1. So x1 is less than 5. So 1 will be printed. Then x value will be get incremented. So it will become 2. Again, the condition will be checked. 2 is less than 5. Yes. Again, incremented. 3 is less than 5. Again printed, then incremented. So it goes on increasing, and ultimately at some point the value of x becomes greater than 5. So at that time the program flow will come out of this loop and the other statements following the loop are executed. The same program can be rewritten by using the do while loop. Now identify the difference. Here we have written the condition initially before entering the loop, and in do while loop we have written the condition after completing the loop. Right? So in order to exit from this loop, we are checking the condition So the same program can be rewritten by using a do while like this. So x is equal to 1, do. What you have to do? You have to print the value of x, you have to increment the value of x, and then check the condition of value, check the condition whether the value of x is less than or equal to 5 or not. Okay. So the same output you get while using the do while loop or by using the while loop. Then the third looping structure, that is for each loop. Now this for each loop works only with the arrays and is used to loop through each value in an array. Suppose we want to print the each value of an array, then instead of using the while loop or for loop, we have to use for each loop. So the syntax is again the simple as like our while statement, for each, and we have to mention the arrays as value. So every time an array is referenced, so every key and pair, key value pair will be assigned to a variable value, and the code to be executed will be executed till the array contains the values in it. For every loop iteration, the value of the current array element is assigned to the local variable, that is value, and the array pointer is moved by 1 until it reaches the last array element. Okay. So this is how the example of for each statement. Suppose we have declared an array that is colors. Okay. So the variable colors will denote an array which consisted of the 4 different values, that is red, green, blue and yellow. This array has 4 elements. Okay. So for each, now we are referencing this array. So every time the array is referenced, the value of an array element will be assigned to this variable. Right? So the first time when this statement is called, the first value will be assigned to the variable value. Then that value will be printed, and again the pointer moves to the next value. Right? So this next value will be assigned to the value variable. Again it will be printed and the pointer will be moved to the next value. Again it will be printed, pointer will be moved to the next value. Again it will be printed, and ultimately at some moment the array element, there will not be any element in an array, and at that time the program flow will come out of this loop. Okay. So in this lecture we have discussed the conditional statements, the if condition statement. We have seen 3 variations of if statement, that is a simple if statement, then if else statement, then if else if statement. After that, switch statement, which deals with the which gets executed based on the condition. After that, we have seen the 3 looping structures, that is for loop, while loop, do while loop and for each loop. In the next lecture, we will be seeing how to deal with the arrays. Till then, thank you.